Hey, I'm Niño Villaneuva, and I'm a studio engineer. Do a lot of recording, editing, and mixing, and getting into more and more mastering. I really like focusing on the mixing part. It's where you really get to create a lot of the stuff you've recorded gets created, while the recording process is going on. But mixing is like a whole nother, I guess it's a whole nother level, a whole nother phase of creation. Um, Started off really back in 1998 working in different project studios. Um, that totally changed and evolved to working into major studios back in probably 2003 was when I was able to do it professionally. So I've been doing it for over 10 years now professionally and paying the bills with it. I actually started off working for or with Destiny's Child on their last project together, Destiny's Fulfilled. I got a editing, recording, and a mix credit on that album. Um, that actually turned into a lot of gigs and work with Solange, who at the time was becoming her own artist. And it was like perfect timing. I started doing her second solo release. After that, I did Kelly Rowland's second solo release, and since then it's been just a barrage of like different types of artists, from pop to country, um, to funk. I got the honor of working with the legendary George Clinton, and that was really an experience. Learned a lot just from that project alone. Learned priceless pieces of information that you just can't from the books or from watching interviews, really. But and what I'm working on right now though is really back to Solange. We're working on her third full-length album. We did a EP last year. Worked on one of her compilations this past year, and I'm looking forward to finishing her third album we're working on right now. Well, campus has been in and out, right? As far as our our workflow. Um, Frank reached out to me. I would have to say maybe like 6 months ago. This is actually my first time on this property and checking out what he's about, and I'm actually blown away from I mean. I can only describe it as dedication. I mean, a lot of camps, they actually, they reach out and they tell me what they're doing, how much they're committed and how much they're putting into the project and into their vision. And you go to their, to their setup, and it's like, okay, it's like they're really, really just starting out, and you give it a shot. You commit your time, to them, and you realize, okay, they're not really that committed because they're not upgrading their facilities. They're not, they're not, they're not building upon themselves. And when I got here, I was like, okay, Frank is dedicated. And I actually haven't had this conversation with him yet, but I'm pretty impressed with the dedication that I see just from what I'm seeing around here. So it's really cool stuff.